Yeah. What's up? What's good? What's popping? What's cracking? What's percolating? What's really good in the hood? It's man Theo Butler. Welcome to an episode. I ain't saying, I'm just saying with the Rock With Me Nation in tribute, honor, recognition, memory of Chadwick Aaron Boseman. Yeah, that's what we're doing today. Today is August 28th. Today is August 28th, 2024. And do you know where you were 4 years ago today? It's crazy. Before we begin, though, let me go ahead and catch up with everybody. We got Groovy Fee in the building. We got Ronnie J. Kamoyo King, the president of the Black Panther fan group, is in the building. Absolutely. We got Gray, super producer. That's what I call him, the super producer, in the building. Say he's going to be right back. We got Grand Madam Taro, my elder, my mentor, in the building. We in here. And we not going to do that. We not going to do that. Not going to have the notifications going off and everything like that. But y'all see who, well, the picture is always over my right shoulder, right? Right. We talk a lot about what we like to think he would want us to do and everything like that. But I felt like today, it is August 28th. I do see that recast T'Challa is trending on social media. But as I told my wife, T'Challa didn't pass on August 28th. I don't know what folks want me to tell them. T'Challa didn't pass on August 28th. He didn't. Chadwick Aaron Boseman passed away on August 28th. We still get content with T'Challa in it. We don't get no more content with Chadwick Aaron Boseman in it. So I understand why people are doing what they're doing today, but today ain't got nothing to do with T'Challa. It don't. It has everything to do with Chadwick Aaron Boseman. And I want to take the time today with the rest of the Rock With Me Nation to talk about the man, Chadwick Aaron Boseman. Born 1976, right? 1976. That stands out for me because that's the year the Pittsburgh Steelers won their second Super Bowl. Beat the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Absolutely. What's going on, Big Percy? Professor Film, what's going on? I didn't know we was gonna get him later on down the road. But in studying Chadwick Boseman, and that was a blessing to be able to learn about him. It's crazy how when you learn about other people, how much you wind up learning about yourself. And that's exactly what wound up happening. Born in South Carolina, right? We know that. Carolyn Leroy Boseman identifies as African American, Chadwick Boseman. But he went to HBCU. That's a historically black college. There were no identity conflicts at play with him. No. African American. I'll tell you why that's important later on. But African American. He went to HBCU. He was different. I can relate to that. Acting, writing, directing, those, or as someone would like to say, that's not necessarily a black job, right? The other thing he was skilled at doing, they probably would describe that as a black job. Basketball. AAU camp. He was nice. I was all right playing football. I ain't getting offered a scholarship to play football. No, he actually got offered a scholarship to play basketball. He was nice. And smart people problems because he didn't want the basketball scholarship. You got choices on the table, huh, big dog? You got choices on the table, but he was gifted. Did you know that? He was nice with it. AAU basketball. Nobody told him, and when I say nobody, I mean in his immediate family. And we talk about the immediate family. Mom, dad, same household. 2 older siblings. I'm sorry. Kevin is actually younger than Chadwick. Derek would be the older sibling. Nuclear family. Mother, father, mom, dad. I didn't have that. I didn't have that. He did. South Carolina. You want to act, you want to direct, you want to be a writer. That ain't gonna put no food on the table. Nobody ever told him no. No, he was encouraged by his family. It wasn't just on the parents either. Mom and dad at work. Derek made it do what it did. Cooking, cleaning, helping with homework. I didn't have that. I lived with my grandparents. They were too old to help with homework. No, I had to get in where I fit in. That's an American story. No selfishness there. I've listened to Derek talk about his brother. Watched Derek talk about his brother. Glowing comments about his brother. Sensitive too. And you can take it however you want to, but for him to write a play, carry out that play in honor of a classmate whose life was taken, that's a special brother. That's a sensitive brother. That's what motivated you to do it. And you had the talent to do it. Wow. No wonder they offered you a scholarship. Howard University. You know, it's crazy to me when people say, quit, give up to a Chadwick Boseman fan. That's wild to me. Like I don't know how you say that to anybody that's a Chad, unless you don't really know about Chadwick Boseman. He wasn't just part of the protest at Howard University. He led it. You want me to say that one more time? He wasn't just a protester at Howard University. Not when they were talking about closing the College of Fine Arts. No, he led it. 1997. What was I doing in 1997? I think my oldest daughter was 3 years old. Yeah, she was 3. And this dude was on campus saying, nah, we ain't doing that. And said it with his chest. With his chest. There was no give up. Do you know that even after he graduated from Howard, this dude still kept getting after them about that school? Even after he graduated, he still wouldn't let that bone go. It ain't got to be his concern. He gone. No, 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 no. Felicia Rashard is now the dean at that school. They reopened it. They reestablished it at Howard University. He didn't quit. Never. I don't even know what that's like. Did not quit. Had a strong sense of self. They say if you don't know where you come from, you will never know where you're going. They say if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. That's crazy. You go to college, HBCU, and that ain't good enough. You need to know more. So you work at an African American bookstore. It's crazy. Part of me wishes he was here today. Part of me doesn't. Because I don't know how he would be received. When I look at so many people out here, celebrities that are talking, he'd have stood opposite of them. It would have been uncomfortable because he was a man of conviction. And what do I mean when I say that? I mean black celebrities that don't necessarily claim their blackness, or black celebrities that act like they ain't got nothing to do with Africa. He would have been opposed to that. Well, how you know, Theo? The dude traced his heritage back to Africa, which is, I don't know how we don't do that today in 2024 when there is black literature that's out there. Might be why there's some familiarity there. He read books. You heard me talk about William Shakespeare. That was one of his favorite writers, William Shakespeare. Traced his ethnicity, his heritage, all the way back to Africa, to the Limba people and the Yoruba people. You know, in 2024, with us, so many of us saying we don't have anything to do with Africa, well, why don't we just take Africa out of the HBCUs? Since there are so many black people that see no value in the motherland, why don't we just take Africa out the HBCU? Why don't we take African studies out of classes? Why don't we do that? Why don't we just get rid of African American literature? When you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. And in studying him, he knew where he was going. He knew who he was, enough to the point to ask questions. There's no such thing as I'm just going to play a stereotypical role. Can't drive, can't read, can't swim. I'm good. There's another actor that echoes those sentiments, Michael Jai White. No, I'm not just taking any role. And you've seen him take roles. And you ain't seen him take no simple role. I think the simplest role he probably took was the role on Saturday Night Live when he was hosting. But you ain't see him take no simple role, regardless if it was a starring character or whether it was just the character showing up. No, his characters had levels to them. That was by design. Who wants to be a simple person? You should be a complex individual. You should be. and you should be proud in who you are. He knew he was black because that's what society was going to call him. He knew he was born in America, so he was an American. South Carolina, where it's easy to just settle for being called a color. No different than being in Georgia. It's easy to be just a color. Mississippi, Alabama, it's easy to be just a color, even though the books are sitting right there, even though the literature is sitting right there, even though the history is sitting right there. It's easy for you to adopt that mindset that you're just a color. Can't find it on the map, though, can you? Can't find black on the map, can you? You can't. You can find Africa on the map, though. He traced his. He thought it was important enough, significant enough to trace that back to that land. I got to think it was for a sense of self-worth. See, if you know there's value to you, then you know something has to take place for you to fall off. So when I'm on the set of General Hospital and they tell me I'm just playing a kid, a troubled youth, why? That's a fair question. Why? What got this young man to this point? He ain't just come into the world like this. He wasn't born like this. What got him like this? He wasn't afraid to ask the tough questions. But you know what? When you're not afraid to ask the tough questions, you got to be prepared for people that are afraid to answer them tough questions. And if you ain't them, you ain't on their level, they might do certain things, make things difficult for you. They fired him. They fired him. How long ago was that though? 2003? Was that the end of his career? Was that the end of Chadwick Boseman? No. Kept going. 2024, when we hear so many black actors and actresses talking about they ain't got a job, how Hollywood has told them no, how they can't get roles, how they not being paid adequately. Could you imagine if he was still living? Being friends with Kamala Harris, Kamala. And I had to think about why I'm saying that wrong because I got Kamala Khan. I keep hearing that name in my head all day. Kamala Khan, Kamala Harris. Could you imagine how many black men would be mad at him right now if he was alive? Could you imagine how many black men would disparage him because he was friends with her? He is friends with her. You know how many black people would go after him? Unjustifiably. That's the sad part. No differently how they going after her because he would be there by her side. Something to be said about having a husband and wife in the house. Something to be said about that nuclear family. We don't give it enough credit. But look at what we got. He cared. Whatever he did, he cared. That's what it's supposed to be, right? Whatever you do, you care. You care enough to want to get it right. When folks say they got nothing out of Black Panther, I'm like, how? He Black, African American. Why is he speaking Xhosa, Swahili? Why is he implementing that? That's not the writer. That's not the director. That's the actor. Pride, intestinal fortitude, knowledge of self. You don't get that if you don't know where you came from. Not just two different languages, but the dialect. And your swag had to match his swag. He didn't bring his world into his projects. He brought his knowledge, he brought his wisdom to do what he could to bring that world to life. Unlike some other people who they want to make whatever project they're a part of look like the world outside their window, that's not what he wanted. He wanted to bring Wakanda, the character, T'Challa, the characters in Wakanda to us. No differently than he brought Jacob King to us. He played the role of the real guy, Jackie Robinson. He brought Jackie Robinson to us. He disappeared so that we could remember what Jackie Robinson was about, what he went through. Now, it's crazy because we sit here in 2024, and I'm just now realizing it as I'm saying it. We've seen Chadwick Boseman play 3 historical Black figures, American Black figures, African Americans, if you will. We ain't got a story about him yet. How long do I have to wait? I think it would be reprehensible for any Chadwick Boseman fan not to have what Christopher Reeve fans got. Because if the world stopped moving on August 28th, 2020, because the brother that sits to my right shoulder passed away, then there's more we can do than what we've done. At a time when there are so many of us that have so much to say, and it's not pulling us together. Black men talking about Black women talking about Black men, Black people being pitted against Black people. Black people not standing up for one another, regardless of whether they disagree or not. Regardless, we could learn a lot, if not about him, about yourself. What are you capable of? Do you give up? Diagnosed with cancer, 2016. What came out of 2016? Didn't stop. Didn't go away. Kept going. Because he realized how many people cared about that character. How much that character meant to so many people. He got to get up. He got to work out. He got to learn them lines. He got to give people hope. Was that for him or was that for everybody else? Was he learning those lines for him or was he learning those lines for everybody else? Was he working out for him or was he working out for everybody else? When he made those changes, those updates, those corrections, if you will, to the script, was that for him or was that for everybody else? There's a song that comes to mind right now, and I know quite a few of the old heads remember it. I did it my way. I think it's safe to say he did it his way. And when we talk about coming together, working together in the community and everything like that, isn't he the epitome of that? What could you learn from him as a man if you realize that, well, when he was playing this role on the soap opera, he went in and he asked a question in regards to the character? What do you take away? What do you learn from him as a man if you remember 21 Bridges, his female co-star was not being adequately paid? She's a white woman. She's a woman. He's a black man, South Carolina. Let it marinate. In 2024, when we have so many people having so much negativity to say about one another based on race, ethnicity, and gender, I want us to think about what he did. That wasn't his wife. That wasn't his girlfriend. No, she was a coworker. And if we don't know how to draw the equivalent to it, think about the conversation surrounding Robert Downey Jr. and Terrence Howard. See, in remembering Chadwick Aaron Boseman, thinking about him, studying his life, the fight is the fight. The fight is the fight. You go on till you can't. Knowledge of self is important. It is. Reading is fundamental. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Remember what's important. Be proud of that. He was. But if I had to say what studying his journey did for me as a person, and this is what matters more than anything else. Being from South Carolina, being worldly, if you will, because I want us to think about that. South Carolina, he damn near in the Bible Belt. You learning a lot. So stuff that might conflict with some stuff that you being taught in the Bible Belt. You learning a lot. You going to black historically black college. Oh, you working at the black bookstore. Oh Lord, and you done went and traced your. Okay, all right, cool. I learned how to balance, amend, if you will, my religious upbringing and my spiritual belief. I can walk in God's light and not be ashamed of who I am or where I'm from. I can walk in God's light knowing that God's light covers me no differently than it covers the next person. But in walking in God's light, that doesn't stop me from being a proud Black man, African American man with roots in Africa. I can be a proud American and be a proud African American. I can love both. There are no diaspora wars. There is no such thing as that's not my brother, that's not my sister. We just don't be happy to stay in the same, watch this. We don't stay on the same street. They stay cross town. That's what I got from him. Part of me wishes he was still here. Part of me does. Part of me though is glad because I can only imagine. I wouldn't want that. I'm gonna keep up with these notes, questions, answers, whatever we got. Yes, he was dying. He gave to everyone else. Visited kid that was sick, got PPE to our people that didn't have it during COVID. He did a lot. Yes, he did. He was a real life warrior. Yeah, he was. What's going on, Byron? Our own personal T'Challa. The talented Mr. Smith. What's going on? Rest in peace, the man who brought leaders to life. Absolutely. Yeah, Chadwick meant so much to the culture. He was born a year after I was born. Listen, I do the same thing sometimes. We got everybody in here, man. Thank y'all so much for pulling up. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure I didn't want it to get lost in the moment. I don't want to make this. I didn't want to do a. I want us to talk about Chadwick Boseman if we're gonna talk. I think there's enough to his life that if we put it on film, it would do for us what Christopher Reeve's life being on film would do. Uh, I think we wouldn't get those things where I remember what's the young brother name that plays for the Cleveland Browns? Jared, Miles Jarrett. We wouldn't have it where we're questioning whether or not a black athlete can be a person who appreciates art. Because that was the question when he came out. Oh, he liked to read poetry. Is he gonna play football? Why is that the question? He can't do both. We had a brother that was doing both. I think there's some unselfishness there that we could learn from him. Uh, Empathy, if you will. The passing of a classmate in high school, uh, him being able to write a play in dedication of that classmate, him staying on his craft. He wrote several plays. He was very well acclaimed as far as a playwright. We got brothers and sisters who want to do that. So we should never have a question of, well, we don't have black movies, because we come from a time when we had a plethora of black directors, black writers. John Singleton, right? The Fuqua brother, Antoine Fuqua, right? We Spike Lee. We know we've had brothers that could make it do what it do. And even though I don't necessarily agree with what he has going on with the Black Panther IP in Marvel, Ryan Coogler is a talented brother. So Michael B. Jordan just jumped on out there in the field. So would Chadwick not have jumped out there? Would Chadwick, because that's what he graduated college from, would he not have had to jump out there to make sure? Isn't this one of the things that he talked about? Us having those opportunities. It's crazy because he talked about it. And we sitting up here in 2024, and it's like we moving backwards in time, when he literally, alive and well, was talking about, no, we need to keep pushing that forward. How do we do that? Is it about me, you? Is it about all of us? Are we going to get stuck on a race? Are we going to get stuck on a color? Or are we going to be focused on what's right and do what's right as opposed to what's wrong? He said over my right shoulder. I, I pretty much don't have a choice in this. I don't. You can do what you want to do, but there's no way he sits on my right shoulder and I ain't doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Then I'm gonna look bad, and I think I look bad enough. I ain't trying to get look any worse. I ain't gonna keep y'all long. I'm not. I'm not gonna go over all of his life accomplishments, because honestly, if you care enough, you'll learn them. You will. What I just wanted to do today was just take time out to acknowledge the brother. Want to make this about him. It's Wednesday. You got Netflix. It's a lot of movies over there with him in it. A lot of them. Me and my wife watched The Harder They Fall the other night. A lot of, it's crazy. Some irony there. Jonathan Majors, Chadwick Boseman's initials on the car. If you're a Chadwick Boseman fan, I did. I'm not saying that you are. Just remember what he did and why he did it. Just remember what he did and why he did it. And keep that front and center. You don't have to go back and forth with anybody. You don't. Um, just remember. And if you have not watched the video of Derek Boseman on Urban Faith in regards to his brother Chadwick, I urge you to go watch it. I do. I urge you to watch as many of his films as you can, and I'm pretty sure Byron would appreciate this. Watch him from a different angle. Theo, what do you mean when you say that? Watch him to see how he acts. Study him. Don't look at him as just playing the role anymore. No, look at all the nuances. Watch it from that perspective and see how you gain a brand new appreciation for him as an actor. See how you gain a brand new appreciation just for what it takes to be an actor, period. Now, if you're old enough, think about how he acted in those movies and compare it to your memory of the real life people he portrayed. Bro, you missed. You are going too soon. We don't talk about you enough. But you all remember, your legacy will not die out. It won't. And we don't even need to talk about the character to talk about you. No, we can keep you right there. To the family of Chadwick Boseman, thank you for begrudgingly, because I know y'all didn't always want to do it. Kevin talked about it, sharing him with us. Thank you. From the Rock With Me Nation, you will forever and always have our deepest sympathies, our condolences. If you ever want to know, if you ever got a question, concern about whether or not something is too difficult, whether or not you should give up, whether or not you should quit, just remember Chadwick Aaron Boseman. That's it. That's all you got to do. And if you're a fan of his, that should be enough for you to carry on. I'm out. I am. Come back to y'all later on today. What a week it was Wednesday, 7, 8 o'clock tonight. Get you some Chadwick Aaron Boseman. Not today, tomorrow, this weekend. Let's not mourn. Let's celebrate and remember. That's how we keep the legacy alive. That's how we keep the memory alive. And as long as I have this channel, as long as I have a breath in my body, this won't be the last time we talk about Chadwick Boseman. It won't be. There'll be many more times. And at some point, I believe wholeheartedly, we will get that Chadwick Boseman movie biopic that we've been asking for. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. Listen, we did what we had to do. Did what needed to be done, did what we wanted to do. Come in and show our acknowledgement. That said, in memory of him and the late, great Don Cornelius, you know we got to take care of ourselves, right? Right. So let's make sure our health is where our health needs to be. Let's make sure our doctor visits are where our doctor visits need to be, because we want to have more moments like this, right? Right. So till the next time, which will be later on this evening, make sure you like, share, subscribe, by the way. I wish each and every last one of y'all love, peace. So we out. Mr. Boseman, salute.